I'll open the book of Allah and I'll find a verse or a story, and suddenly it gives me that perspective back again. The angels look down on earth and they see the houses in which the Qur'an is being recited as though they are stars. My sisters, the Qur'an was meant for you. It speaks to you. It is for you. So why should you as a Muslim woman be memorizing the Qur'an? The Qur'an is the final message of Allah, the final word of Allah revealed to human beings, the unchanged word of Allah, and it will be unchanged until the Day of Judgment. As you know, the primary way in which the Qur'an was preserved was through oral transmission, through memorization and then transmission. So when you memorize the Qur'an, you are part of that divine system in terms of being a hafidh, somebody who memorizes, who has recited to their teacher, who's recited to their teacher, going all the way back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're part of that amazing legacy and that chain. Apart from that, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ, that I have made the Qur'an easy for people to memorize. So is there anyone who will take heed? Allah is literally inviting us to memorize, learn, and live our lives by the Qur'an. And that goes for women as well as men. Unlike some of the scriptures before the Qur'an has always been accessible to ordinary people. You know, some of the scriptures of the past, it was only priests, rabbis, or people who were very, very learned or who had a certain religious status who could access those scriptures. As for the Qur'an, it's something that even children and the average person had access to, could understand, could memorize. So we as women are also part of that legacy. We know that great women like Aisha radiallahu anha memorized the Qur'an. They had their own copy of the Qur'an, and they not only memorized it but actually explained it to the men who would travel from all over the Muslim world seeking knowledge from them about those verses. We know that Hafsa radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, daughter of Umar bin al-Khattab, she was deemed such a trustworthy woman and a woman of Qur'an that the first mushaf, the first written copy of the Qur'an, was kept in her home, in her safekeeping. And so when Uthman radiallahu anhu wanted to print more copies of the Qur'an, he actually went to Hafsa and sought the copy of the Qur'an that was in Hafsa's safekeeping from her. Okay, so if you're trying to re-establish or establish some new goals, you can go straight into goals. What I've done is I've labeled one Kickstart. I decided that I want to read 5 pages every single day starting from today, and that's my new goal. So every time I want to do that goal, I can just go straight into here and start the session, and it will keep a log of my streaks and for how long I've been able to maintain that goal. So if you go to the dashboard, you can see this is my daily goal, and then on Friday the goal of reciting Surah Kahf will show up as well. Now the Qur'an is actually speaking to us directly as women, as female servants of Allah. And if you had a message, if you had a letter, say from the king or from some very elite or significant figure, wouldn't you love to be able to understand it, to read it, and to know what it says? In the same way, we have this letter from our Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have the ability to understand it, engage with it, recite it. And it's one of the miracles of the Qur'an that not only is its meaning blessed, but also its recitation, its melody, everything about it affects us and is a cure for all of the ailments that we face spiritually as human beings. We're living in a time when so many industries and so many elements are constantly trying to call us as women and pull us in different directions. We have the music industry, we have the fashion industry, we have Hollywood and Disney and all of these different industries that are telling us we're not good enough. We don't look good enough. We need to constantly preen and perfect ourselves in a material way in order to fit in and be people of worth. The message of the Qur'an is an antidote to all of that toxic messaging that we're exposed to on a daily basis. And so when we open the Book of Allah, and I know this has happened to me so many times when I felt so thrown by life, I'll open the Book of Allah and I'll find a verse or a story or a surah that I can recite and understand. And suddenly it gives me that perspective back again. The perspective that all of us need in this world that can delude us so much and that's pulling us in so many different directions. As an example, I always return to the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Look at the many tests and the travails that he went through, and then see how he emerged at the end successful, how his entire family were united once again after such a troubled and traumatic history and story. And then that message that Allah gives us, إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَتَّقِ وَيَصْبِرْ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. That the person who is conscious of Allah and is patient and perseveres, verily Allah always makes the people of ihsan, the people who do good, successful in the end. Right? That message is a message that all of us as Muslims need to hear, because there's so many times when it would be so easy for us to give up, right? To give up our principles, to give up our values. You know, where the hijab that we wear is something that Allah commanded us with in His book. He deemed it that important. So my sisters, the Qur'an was meant for you. It speaks to you. It is for you. We must grasp it with both of our hands. If you want your child's relationship with the Qur'an to be a strong one, then you need to have a strong relationship with the Qur'an too. If our children never see us sitting down reciting the words of Allah and then we're turning to them and telling them to recite, then they're going to pick up on that. So it's really important, if you're somebody who values the Qur'an and wants the Qur'an to be a part of your family life, as we all should do. You know, there's a beautiful hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ told us that just as we look at the sky and we see the stars, the angels look down on earth and they see the houses in which the Qur'an is being recited as though they are stars. They can see the glow from your home when Qur'an is recited in it. So if we want homes like that, homes that are shining beacons of light, then we have to be the role models, right? We've got to pave the way for the culture that we want to exist in our homes. So if you're questioning whether memorizing the Qur'an is for you or not, question no further. We know from the women of the past who memorized the Qur'an, and we know from the fact that the Qur'an is addressing us as women, is meant to be accessible to us as women, that the Qur'an and its memorization is for us. So let's not delay. Let's start today in whatever small way we can, even if it's one verse. So my sisters, when the verses of Qur'an live in your heart, there's no trend, no ideology, no comment section that can shake your sense of worth. If you benefited from that video, do subscribe to Tarteel's YouTube channel and leave a comment below.